Annyeong, it's Mikey here, and guys, today I have actually an interesting video for me personally. It might not be for you, of course, but 3dKeycaps sent me out their newest mod kit, and what this is it's an angle mod kit for MX style keyboards. What does that mean? It means this is supposed to help make something more ergonomic. I'm gonna have to go and see, can you really make anything ergonomic? And for this video, I actually don't have a split board or an Alice keyboard, so we're gonna be actually doing it on regular keyboards. See, will this really make it more ergonomic? So let's go right into that, checking these out and see how this works. But please make sure to like and subscribe.
So starting off, we're going to take a look at the 3dKeycaps, the set itself, and as well as the little keycaps they provided. So as you can see right here, this is going to be the whole ergonomic kit set. So this is what you get with the little, the box that you're going to get with the set from 3dKeycaps, and it's all 3D printed, and these are just modifiers for your current MX stems. So this actually will work with any of the regular MX stems switches. You just have to put it on top, and as you can see here, there's different angles here. So you have the lower angle, the higher angle, and then they give you these little extra additional bits as well. Now I'm gonna have to go into, of course, like actually how to build it for you guys and the steps that you can take. They also do have their own 3dKeycaps that they provide that provided me, but I won't really be able to use these because they're just individual pieces. They're 3D printed as well. They actually seem and feel really decent in terms of the quality. I would say the granite one feels a lot better. Like, I think the quality wise just feels really good. Unfortunately, I don't want to really just go into using them into this because they're just individual pieces. To really test the ergonomics of it would be really difficult with just single ones. So we're going to use regular keycap sets to really test to see how this thing works. So let me go into the building. So how you go into the building of this, right? So we're going to move the keycaps. We're not going to do the whole keyboard because I don't think it's necessary for me to really do the whole keyboard to do the full testing, but I'm going to give you guys pretty much what it should be like. Now, how to build this. So first of all, we're going to go into the main alpha section, and we're going to move the letters, and then we're going to show you how to actually put them in. So you get the different pieces here. Now you have the higher piece, you have the mixed piece, which is going to be combining the two, like the small piece and the high piece, right? So right there. And that's what's going to be on the top, like the top set is going to be just your regular high. So it's not the combined pieces, but you're just going to grab their regular high profile piece for the modifier, and then we're going to put it in. So I'm going to use that for the specifically QWER row. That's going to be the row to have the higher one, and then we're going to go into the mid row and then the low row, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So this is what the first row looks like. Next is going to be the middle row, which is going to be the lower profile piece, and then we're going to put that same way. The angle of the direction should be facing downwards. So these ones have an angle to it, and you're going to have them facing down, so towards you, instead of for like sideways or upwards for this specific build set. You can actually, of course, make them a little bit like to the side and such if you're using a split board and just want to change it up a little bit. But in terms of what we're doing with the regular keyboard, like this is a 75%, we're actually just going to have them facing down towards you. So the middles is going to be just the regular low profile piece, and then we're going to add the keycaps on top of it, and then you'll take a look. So see how I actually put one the backwards. So we will want them all facing downwards. As you can see right here, this is how it should be looking once you are putting them in. Next, we're going to be doing the bottom side. The bottom side, we're actually going to have them facing upwards now. So as I was saying earlier, the angles are facing down. Well, this time the angle is going to face up, so away from you. This way, you're going to actually have a better angle in terms of the keycaps, where it's not going to be really awkward, and you're actually going to be able to have them really feeling a lot more ergonomic and having an easier time like being able to reach the keys, because if you have them facing downwards, because of how the keyboard is with the angle going like thicker on the top and smaller on the bottom, it really does feel awkward. And you can actually also put them on your stabilizers as well for your spacebar, and the spacebar should be faced upwards instead of towards you, but upwards, and then you'll have this more ergonomic shape. So right there, as you can see, now this thing looks a lot more ergonomic, feels a lot more like shapely towards what your fingers should be able to reach, and everything's in within your grasp. Now, of course, I'm going to show you guys the number row. So the number row is going to be a specific one where you have to actually combine the two pieces. You're going to combine the lower piece and the tall piece together to get this specific shape. So that way, everything is reachable within one hand. Now, there's an issue though. The number row will actually scratch against the keycaps. But let me let you guys hear it out a little bit. So this is what I meant in terms of the typing. So like you guys can see me typing right here, and then the comfortability in terms of like ergonomics of this is actually really comfortable. Now my angles of the wrist and my forearm, everything is straight. I don't have to like bend my arms or really reach for any keys. I don't have to move my arms much. Thanks to the angles of this, I can actually keep it really, really straight and really be able to reach all the buttons that I need. Though of course the number row is going to be a little bit higher and I have to reach a little bit further. This layout really does make it feel a lot more comfortable in terms of the typing. And of course, I haven't done it for the whole board, so it might be different in terms of like when I get everything done. But it just makes it feel a lot more comfortable. Like you see how my wrists there are very, very straight. I'm having a really comfortable time typing with this, and like I'm really feeling that with the wrist rest, it really works well, especially if you have a regular keyboard. Without a wrist rest, it's gonna feel a little bit different, and I'm gonna have to show you guys that. But one thing that like is really important when you are thinking about ergonomics, especially when typing on a desk and you have wrist pain and you have arthritis, things that you need to keep in mind is you want to keep your wrists and your elbows and your arm all in like a straight 90 degree. So the elbows are 90 degree from the desk to the keyboard, and when you're typing with it, your hands should be also quite straight with the wrist. You don't want to be constantly moving your wrists up and down, which really does create wear in your wrists. See, without the wrist rest, when I bring it down, this angle is not really great because I am actually having to move my wrist upwards. The best way would be like this, where I'm actually holding my arm up and keeping everything in a straight line. This is why a wrist rest really does help with this. And in terms of the keycap profile and like the way that this specific modifier works, it really does make it feel a lot more comfortable because I'm able to really keep that straight wrist and only move my fingers where I need it to be. When you have a regular profile keyboard, it really does change it up quite a bit, which I'm going to have to show you guys like here. So I hope you guys can see right here as well, like my wrists are constantly moving and it really does feel quite different. So I don't have pain in my wrists, so I can't say for sure like if the pain would go away for your wrists in this. But one thing I noticed is that my forearms, I could feel it a lot less in my forearms when I'm typing than when I was using like the normal profile versus like the actual modded. It really does make and feel different, especially with the comfortability of typing, where I've noticed that I was actually moving my hands quite a bit even to reach the QWER section. With the modded version, like I didn't have to reach as far, and it really did feel a lot more comfortable. And I think this is something that you can really see in terms of the profile of the side, that just take a look at the typing.
So we just did like an unboxing and showed you guys how to put together your own personal ergonomic set, like what it should be coming out as. Now, one thing I noticed is that it does get scratchy with the number row, with the QWER row. I'm not a big fan of that. I think the angle is too heavy for it. This is probably the most ergonomic way to build it. Your board is really going to be super high up. And of course, I'm going to have to really show you guys how high up it is, right? Like, let me give you guys an example right here. So if you guys can see my board right there, do you see how angled that is? Do you see how it looks like right there? Yeah, this isn't the greatest way to have the keycaps to be going, right? It gets super scratchy up here. The switches are really, really rigid and like barely pressable. This is something that they really should work on. I think the angles are too high. I think they should really change that up, modify it quite a bit to make it a bit better, and have any keycap set really work, except for SA profiles, I guess, because SA profiles are just incredibly high. And you know, we're going to do a test on many different boards that I have, right? I'm going to do it with the SA profile. I'm going to do it with this one, as you guys already saw how I did it, as well as the MOA profile. I'll give you guys my thoughts after that. So let's go right into it.
So the next thing I want to show you was, this is a Smile profile keycaps, and this keycap set is actually a little bit on the lower profile side compared to say other keycap like the regular cherry profile. So this is a little bit lower, and you can already tell here that it does make a difference. Like it still does scratch though. So the thing about the numbers is it still scratches. And one thing that many might be like curious about in terms of like when you add these modifiers is how much stem wobble will there be, and it is quite severely there. So if you are someone who's really sensitive to stem wobble, you'll definitely notice it. The stem wobble definitely is worse when you have a switch that has more stem wobble. If you have one that's a little bit less, you don't get that kind of stem wobbling in this, which is a good thing. So it really depends on your switch. So you really want to get a switch that doesn't have stem wobble. The thing is though that like if you're gonna game with this, it's definitely gonna feel weird, especially with the wobbling. And as you can see right there, like the numbers just scratching against the top row, like the QWER section, really just isn't great. Like I really hate that feeling, and I really wish and I hope that they can really fix this and make something much better. Now this is going into the SA profile. So I hope you guys can see right here, it is still going to be scratchy, right? Like even with the SA profile, you can definitely see it. Like it's actually a lot worse in terms of the scratching. It's due to like the profile of the keycap set. It's actually a lot higher and it's taking up a lot more space, but it is much worse for this. Like you can really see how it is scratching and hitting it, and it will affect it quite a bit. I was quite surprised to see like how much it was affecting it, and it's just unfortunate to see that. I really do think that if they could make it a little bit lower, I think even the high profile is a little bit on the very high side. I think they can actually lower it a little bit and add another height in there as well. Like as we move on to even the MOA profile, you can see that even MOA profiles, right, it's a little bit smaller in the keycaps, right? It's more round. And even then, it's still hitting the numbers and they keep scratching. Like you can really see that. And what happens with that means is every time you touch the QWER section or you are hitting like 1, 2, 3, 4, you will really notice the scratching, and the numbers will actually won't feel like you're typing on them, and it feels like mushy and like you're touching it and it scratches and you can feel it like you're hitting the QWER section as well. So I really feel that even with like the low profile, it's the same situation, which is actually worse. So low profile keycaps, it's a little bit wider, right? Because you're taking up a lot more space, and it's actually completely overlapping. Like it's almost like unusable levels of this. And that's why I think, as I was saying, right, like they should have maybe more profiles available in this. I'm feeling that they should have the high profile is fine. There should be a medium profile, like then that's like in between the small and the high, and then even a straight one, just like a straight up like small profile version of it that's just straight up. Like let me show you in terms of just using the regular high profile version with the low keycaps, and like showing you what it will look like, and the reason why I'm saying you have to actually combine it to get the high profile. Also keep in mind that these are 3D printed, so they are a little bit on the fragile side. Notice, like you can see right there that it already kind of like cracked on the side while I was doing something there and actually putting it in. So in terms of the build quality of these, I felt that they were very plasticky, and they are plastic, and the quality wise wasn't bad, but they are still going to be a little bit more on the fragile side because they are on the 3D printed side. So keep in mind for yourselves as well on this is that even though they are pretty decent in terms of the build itself, they can still get fragile, and that's like the case for anything that is built like this. Like it still has some points of being fragile, and it can break. Now let me show you guys like what I was trying to do here with the medium profiles and like changing up and removing like the combination, and why I say that it doesn't really work without having to do what I just did here with the combining of it, because every angle, every side of the keyboard is going to be different, meaning like the top row to the down is going to be a little bit different in height, right? It's angled still. The boards are still angled, which causes it to really look a little bit more awkward in terms of like how it's going to be sideways. So as you can see here, if I use the medium profile instead of the high profile, you can see now the middle row is going to be high up, even though it's the same medium profile, and then the top, like the QWE row, is going to be a little bit lower now, and it just looks and feels a bit awkward. Like it doesn't feel natural when you are trying to type on it. Now if I switch up the bottom row to be the opposite way, it does work a little bit better, so that you're angled upwards. And let me show you guys what it would actually look like this way. And then the thing about when you change the angle of it, yes, it does make it feel a lot better, right? Like the 1, 2, 3, QWE, and the ASD now feel a lot better in terms of looking a little bit more natural, and it's a little bit more curved. The thing is though, is that means the ZXC is going to be the important part, right? So depending on how angled the ZXC will be, that's when it's going to be like, will this feel comfortable? Will it feel not comfortable? And is it too high or not? And that's why I'm going to have to now remove the ZXC and show you guys that. So as you can see here, as I am putting together it does work, right? So if you use the higher profile on the bottom, and it does make a really nice curved shape, but it's just, it feels really high for the ZXC portion, right? I feel like it is kind of a bit too high, especially when like that's supposed to be the area that should be on the lower side and not on the higher side. Now, if you use the lower profile version instead of the high profile, this is what it would look like. So as we bring it towards you guys, as you can see, now it's a little bit too low and it feels a little awkward. Like it doesn't feel smooth. It doesn't feel natural. This is the issue that I noticed with this specific modification is it works and there's portions out there that just feels a little bit kind of underwhelming and feels not natural. I really think that just having the two profiles really isn't going to be the best way. I think that they really do require something more, like a medium profile or something that's just straight even, or like something that's on the lower profile, like even lower, that can really just keep the middle row straight. I think that would be amazing to have the middle row have a little bit of a modification just to make it a little bit higher up to make it more natural. I think that way they can actually have a keycap set that works well without having the number more really take scratching into it. I think the ASD could just slightly higher up, like having that modification just make it slightly higher up would really make this super, super comfortable to use, and it would feel really natural even on a regular keycap set. So I hope 3dKeycap can really do this and really notice that that might be what they need to do to make it so that any keyboard, any board can become and change into, as you say, like a ergonomic or kinesis board like feeling. This would really help with the ergonomics of it, and it would really help improve in terms of what people might be looking for in terms of a keyboard. Now, if this was a split board, I'm sure I would have a little bit more comfortable time with it. The thing is though, is that these angles, I think it would be nice to have a diagonal angle as well, instead of just like the side to side, left top, diagonal, like bottom left corner, bottom right corner, top right corner, top left corner kind of angles would be a lot more helpful in terms of making like a much more ergonomic feel, where you really can keep your arms more straight without actually having to move them at all and having your wrist fully straight. I think if they can really do this and make this kind of modification kit, this would literally become the ultimate kit to get to make a proper ergonomic keyboard.
So what are my thoughts after testing it out? Cherry profile does not work well. I think, of course, you'd have to probably get yourself a more ergonomic keycap set to really make this happen and work much better. SA profile will not work at all in terms of like, it's just going to keep scratching each other. I would love to see them really improve this. Think about like all the different angles that they can really kind of configure to make sure that people can use regular keycaps to do this. Because I think in terms of typing wise, how I felt with the ergonomics is it does feel more ergonomic. Like I'm feeling my wrists are more straight while I'm typing on it, and it feels very comfortable. If I had a split board, it would have been even more comfortable. I think at that point you're like you can make your own kinesis board without spending kinesis money, which is really, really cool. The thing is, I want to also try it with like regular boards and have it comfortable as well. I think this profile is quite high, so for portability purposes, you're not going to be really able to carry it properly unless you have a nice carrying case. And for home use though, I think it'll be very, very useful and very comfortable. I'd love to see how they improve it. Of course, this thing is supposed to release sometime this month or maybe into next month. They're in like current stages of working on the project and seeing what they can do. So I'd love to see how they improve this, and hopefully this video helps them see it. And I'd love to hear you guys, like, please leave in the comments below what your guys' thoughts are and what you think could really improve it a lot, so that they can really look into it. I'd love to see companies really try to listen to the community and really make those improvements. So please make sure to leave a comment, and I'll have to catch you guys next time. But please go check out the other videos I got.